Hi, this is Alexcursus, a show where I take a look at some Gunpla and see how authentic they are. This time, we are looking at the Zakupla Kun DX set. Zakupla Kun is a character, as if the SDBB warriors are not cute enough, Bandai created Gunpla Kun, which is a extra, even more cutesy baby-like version of Gundam. And Zakupla-kun joins Gunpla-kun in his many adventures. The story is set in, a bit more in the real world, in the sense that mobile suits only exist as Gunpla instead of actual robots and machines of war. I'll be rating these kits based on saga, style, action, gimmick, and absence. And you're wondering, you didn't complete this kit. Actually, I do. This is the DX set, so you're supposed to have this sprue with this weapon rack base and display it as such. Now it is a bit too hard to do action category in this form, so we will put Zakupla-kun back into the mobile suit Zakupla mode, but I do want to talk about the sprue mode in style. This is also definitely a gimmick, but for style, I cannot deny how good this looks. Um, Obviously, this is not how Zakupla Kun comes in. You do have to do a bit of building, not a lot, mostly the head and the torso. The arms and legs are, well, the legs are not one piece, but the arms are one piece. And for whatever reason, they do need to have this bit of the sprue cut off from the rest of it. But yeah, this sprue itself is in another sprue, and this sprue tag is actually on that sprue that you assembled on. You can see it here how it is a separate tag. I guess it does help people to identify that it is a different part. And yeah, the back are all the supports to hold on the parts without actually being connected to the sprue. I can't, you know, talk anything bad about Zakupla's style because this build, this form alone is quite a good style. I also didn't do panel lining this time because the computer animation they do for Kamplakun and Sakuplakun is quite, I shouldn't say old school, but it's definitely the shadeless, the single color, more simple sort of computer animation. So the sculpts are not as crisp as you might see in, say, G-Quacks. However, the sculpt on the model or on Zakupla Kun himself is pretty deep, so you still see the details on it. Like the hit hawk is a single piece, but practically the same as the ones you find on HG or G frame. The backpack is a single piece, but again, it is a very good cast. The chest suffers slightly, but not enough. Like you clearly have, fixed skirts instead of movable skirts, but scope-wise, it is not too bad. For the foot, we even have separate color instead of stickers. That is very nice. And they do sculpt the tiny bit of power transmission conduits. And then the arms actually have 5 fingers. I guess we got that in a lot of BB Warriors too, but it is kind of surprised to see the whole arm being casted in one piece with so much sculpt. And I guess for second part of style, I should pop Zakupla out and put him back into MS mode. Like if there is a bit of a complaint is how secured everything is. It is slightly hard to take off. So I'm sorry if the focus are off. So yeah, here is the sprue display. As for Sakura-kun, Zakupla-kun, yeah, it's pretty much a little baby, but it is also clearly a Zaku. Compared to baby warriors, the arms and legs are thinner, and the head is much larger. So yeah, like I said, the color separation is actually pretty good. It also has the same amount of sculpt as you might find on a HG or a I mean, baby warriors got a lot better these days, but compared to the older baby warriors, this is definitely some great lips and buns. So yeah, style-wise, with the Sprue mode and the MS mode and how great the color separation is and how great how deep the scope lines are, I have to give Zakupla-kun an S in style. I am not the biggest fan of super complex scopes, so lacking in them, like the 2 lines for the open hatch for the Zaku, having that or lacking in that is not a thing for me. What I'm really looking into, I mean, you can pick apart this connection bit, but given the low price point and how easy this thing is to be assembled, I wouldn't pick it up on that. It's not, this is not your large scale with internal mechanics sort of Gunpla. It doesn't cost you, you an arm and a leg. So yeah, for that, it is definitely a S for style. Next is action. Action isn't just the number of the articulations, but also how useful they are. As for Zakupla-kun, it have some disadvantage, but is not doing too bad either. Head is on a ball joint, but due to how little neck it have, you don't really get bob up and down. But turning is fine. And if you haven't noticed, because of the size of its head, we do get a freely rotated mono eye. It is a bit loose on mine, but I think that's fine. I think that's expressive in a way. It is locked better on the side though. Arms on a ball joint, so you got a bit of play in and out, but no elbow joint at all. Same for the other one. We do get a waist, which is quite a buns and lips compared to the old school BB Warriors. Legs is on a ball joint, although it is not as, how should we say? I mean, you can still turn it, but probably because not being a ball on the side and extended out, so not quite as good. Backpack is completely static, so nothing there. Um, can't pop out one leg, so can't kung fu fight at all, but I can feel it. The feet are too small for Zakupla-kun to stand on his own. But Bandai recognized that, so the stand for the sprue actually function as a stand for Zakukun himself. But yeah, we do have to get rid of the weapons rack first. The stand is the appropriate length, so yeah, super stable. So yeah, action wise, I do think I should give some points for Zakupla-kun to have a movable mono eye that we don't have to take the head apart. But other than that, yeah, there's nothing. So it would be a C. Next is Gimmick. Gimmick is the onboard weapon, optional weapons, and other functionality of the mobile suit or peripherals that have been provided in the kit. Like we have been looking at, we do get a base for Zakukun here. We do get an extra sprue that you have to build up for the sprue mode of Zakukun. And we do have a weapons rack, quite overbuilt at that, for storing its weapon and working along with Zakukun's sprue mode. These weapon racks are extra nice because aside from the peg of the handholds, it also slots in the handguard of the weapons. Other than that, it's just a hook for the sprue and a hook for the base itself. As for the weapons, single piece sculpt, nothing special, pretty much BB Warrior, Shokukan, gray. You don't really have a barrel or exhaust from the bazooka, and you can't really line up the optic to Zakupla-kun's mono eye, nor can you store it on his back, but you know, it exists. Zaku machine gun, pretty much the same story. The barrel have a bit more sculpt, more attention to the barrel on a Zaku machine gun. It also even have a little bit of a suggestion of the fun grip being employed on the side. The stock is the usual stock though. But yeah, just plug it in like a round pig. So yeah, it does look pretty nice on Zakupla-kun. So yeah, while not the most sophisticated among of gimmicks, there is quite a lot of gimmick in this set. You know, the base, all the Zaku weapons, and then even a weapon rack to store the weapons, even though they are not displayed with the sprue mode. God, this just looks like a Zaku head. So yeah, I have to give an S for Gimmick. Zakupla-kun really delivers on what you want out of, you know, Zakupla-kun. Last and least is absence. I think Bandai did a very good job with Zakupla-kun. The pink of the mono eye, that is a separate color piece. Sure, we don't get any color piece for the edge of the Hithawk, but you know, This is Zakupla-kun, not Saku-kun, so it is just a Gunpla running around. Doesn't need to have activated weapons. And it is pretty much the computer model being materialized. I can't say there's much missing. I did mention that we don't get a weapon rack at the back skirt like the Sang Warrior. Like, even though that one is kind of useless, it is still, presented. On here, again, it is a low price point, very much for people's first Gunpla slash Zakupla, for them to ease into the hobby. So I can't get too harsh on it. And the fact that it gives you multiple display mode, yeah, I can't really complain about it. If anything, it would be the weapons rack being in green question mark. I don't think that is a bad thing. The Sprue mode is how they show it in the show, and I think it is fair to have a Hit-Hawk as the standard weapon of a Zaku, because Zaku does, have different machine gun over the years. And yes, I know, even the Sprue say it is MS-06F Zaku 2. I would talk about that. I would talk about why I and people would shorten Zaku 2 into just Zaku, and how Zaku, MS-06F as the generic Zaku 2 is kind of wrong. But, that is a separate topic for another day with more Zakus around. As for Zakupla-kun, yeah, it got just as much things as you would expect from other Zaku models. Gunpla or toys, maybe missing the crackers, but crackers are not a effort presence either, so yeah. No, I am pretty satisfied. So, the verdict for the Zakupla-kun DX set is S for style, C for action, S for gimmick, and A for absence. Overall, as a lower than or EG-ish-esque like Gunpla compared to modern BB Warriors, which still rely on too many stickers, I would have to say. This is excellent. Most colors are presented. A lot of the sculpts are deep enough that you don't have to do panel lining. And instead of the take your chances type of toolless super thin injection points, we actually, let's see if we can find it. I don't know if you can see it, but we actually have some rather large injection points. They are not the one they use that would just snap on their own accidentally and create a little bit of a dimple on the plastic. You can still, this can still happen on the more traditional injection ports, but it's less likely and it's much easier to fix. So I'm glad we are doing that. So yeah, if you want a simple, easy build, or you just really like Gunpla-kun and his friends, I recommend the Zakupla-kun DX set. Thanks for watching. See you next time.